Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Co-Host, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So Ben Shapiro's at it again.
With his eyebrows?
He says, why does it matter who killed an American president? That's his. He wrote this article, and it's titled, Ben Shapiro says, why does it matter who shot JFK?
Do you have the bids for it?
Yeah. Well, if it doesn't matter who shot JFK, why not declassify all the documents then?
Yeah, not the crap ones they put out. They're real ones.
Am I right?
Yes.
I don't know why it matters. I'd like to know. They're hiding it from us, Ben.
That's right.
Why does something have to be sealed for 75 years?
If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be hiding the evidence. So that's the evidence for why it matters right there, that they're hiding the evidence.
Why do you look like that chick that got fired from the Daily Wire, and I think you are her? I think he is Brett Cooper.
Does he look like his soul is drained out of his body? Because that's what it looks like to me, that picture. It looks like it, like he knows what an uphill battle he has because everything he says is a lie, and now everyone knows it. I could just hear his Mossad handler talking to him. Okay, Ben, here's your assignment. You have to tell everyone that it doesn't matter who shot JFK, and then somehow magically get them to not immediately put together that it was Israel. You can do it.
I didn't think it was Israel until he said all this shit.
That's right.
This is what's amazing. Somebody has to have enough smarts in the Hasbro budget to go, won't that make it look like we did it?
Yep. I don't know, but I don't know about JFK, but his face there says, "You're killing me, Larry." That's what if you could think of a more obvious shill to have do this job, I'm open to see it. And no, don't say Michael Rappaport.
Why? I feel like his yarmulke is too big.
And normally, yeah, me too. Right? No,
you get an XL yarmulke? Who do you think you are, dude?
Yeah, no kidding. Did it get?
That's almost a Tim Pool beanie.
That's like a Chris Christie's yarmulke. No, this is the real. It says, much of it has to do with the rapidly declining levels of trust in the American government since the 1960s.
Oh,
really? Since the 1960s, there's been a rapid decline in trust in the government. So right around when they assassinated JFK then, huh?
Did you go to Harvard? That's really smart insight.
So usually the guy who writes the article doesn't come up with the headline. But this headline is so smug and twerpy that Ben Shapiro definitely wrote this headline.
Yeah, he absolutely has Final Cut on his headlines.
Yes. So here, let's listen to this. Here he is. He's going to suggest that the Mossad killed Presidents William McKinley and James Garfield. You think I'm kidding?
Sort of conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right. The kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask, who really killed JFK? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then you're like, well, do you have any?
What? For the wink, wink, nod. What does that mean? Is he saying this is sexual? Ben,
what the hell is he talking about?
The wink, wink, nod, nod part is that the assassination was the Warren Commission.
That's where they all wink. Hey, it was one guy.
That's the wink, wink, nod, nod. The Warren Commission was, oh yeah, it was just one guy. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
What a little shit he is. What a disingenuous sack of shit he is.
It's unbelievable.
Evidence of the thing that you are presupposing. Well, no, I'm not making any.
Wait. Let's start this again.
Sort of conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right.
This thing that's super popular. You mean the obvious fact of it's why is it so popular? It's popular on the left and the right. Everybody's a moron except Ben Shapiro.
Ben's like, get back in your pens. Right and left, get back in your cage.
Yes.
Stop talking to each other.
Yes.
You're infecting each other. You look at him enforcing the mind control.
The kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask, who really killed JFK?
What do you mean,
wink,
just?
Nod, nod.
No, ask. No, I'm asking in a very hostile way.
Yeah, I'm not just asking. I'm actually looking.
I'm just asking. I don't care if you're offended by me asking, and I'm not going to go, I'm just asking. I'm asking before I punch you in your fucking face, dipshit. You understand that?
And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told.
I'm
know
making
not to
accusations.
trust the authorities. You're like, well, that's fine.
And by the way, Kurt was joking. We don't endorse violence at this show, and we're not actually going to punch Ben Shapiro in the face. That was a joke.
No, I mean, when I ask a question hostilely, the amount of hostility I have behind it is like, answer my questions because of the fear of how mad I am.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about him specifically at all.
Right.
And it's like a punchline. It's not really violent. It's
Dude,
just
what would
really
be the
good.
point of what would be the point of punching someone made of tissue paper? What would be the point of that?
But do you have like any evidence? Like evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you?
Do you have any evidence about the JFK assassination? Yeah, again, like I said before, the evidence, the first piece of evidence would be that they're still hiding the evidence.
Look at his face.
Why would any of that information be classified about the JFK assassination if it didn't matter?
I'm not accusing anyone. No, I am. I'm accusing Israel and the CIA.
Yeah.
I'm accusing them.
You're part of it. The reason that you're
Yeah, of course
so
you are.
defensive about all this is, I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do because it's really interesting. But I noticed that the calendar says 2025 and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say, not an enormous amount.
Wow.
Wow, not an enormous amount is how much self-awareness he has while he says something
That's
like
right.
that.
Hey, it doesn't matter who Jeffrey Epstein had sex with or who's on the list. That's because the island's already for sale. Who cares?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm canceling my tour of Auschwitz because it was over 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
You know what? Does the Holocaust matter?
Who cares about who did the Holocaust?
Oh, I could think of another tragedy that's interesting that you would lose your mind if someone said, why are we still talking about this? And I don't say that. I think we should keep that in mind because of the many Holocausts being perpetrated by the good guys right this second. I think we should never forget it, but we have.
So here's how I responded to this. Why does it actually matter who shot JFK? Or another title is Why It's Okay That Israel Killed JFK by Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
When Israel owns you, they don't F around. Hey, by the way, here's another article I can't wait to see. Why does it matter where the COVID virus came from? By Anthony Fauci.
Hey, maybe we did a high-tech bioweapon. Maybe Chinese people eat dirty food. I mean, what, are you going to be a racist and blame the lab? I didn't think Israel was this involved, by the way. I honestly did not.
Right until now.
I'm like, did they do it? Why would you say this?
Yes. So Wally Rashid tweets out, Ben Shapiro, I don't care who JFK. JFK was stopping Israel from developing a nuclear bomb, was forcing AIPAC to register as a foreign agent, demanded Israel accept 800,000 Palestinians displaced from their home in 1947. I wonder why Ben doesn't care who killed JFK.
Yeah, the last one is what sealed JFK's fate, that last one. Because I know we and also Israel will kill people for that. You'll be deposed if you dare do something like that, say Israel has to let them back in the place where they're from.
I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do because it's really interesting. But I noticed that the calendar says 2025 and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley.
So again, just imagine if no one gave a shit about who did the Holocaust, because it's a long time ago. So what he's doing now is that he's not just shilling for Israel. It's progressed to him shilling for the New World Order.
Yeah, this is beyond any Israel. Honestly, if whoever the Mossad and AIPAC people are that are pushing ICE, grabbing people, if you really want to help Israel, you should kidnap this asshole.
That's right.
Because first of all, I want to make it clear, I'm prejudiced against Muslims. I'm prejudiced against them. I would have never been on this side of it had it not been for people like Ben Shapiro. Scumbags like him, and then the king Norman Finkelstein, who really explained to me what it's about. And if you listen to that guy and think he's lying, then you have no radar for truth whatsoever.
So I just want to just say, Ben Shapiro is so effing bad at this. I never thought I would say these words, but Ben, you are messing this up so perfectly that you are a gift and a blessing after all.
After I saw their shitty Daily Wire movie, I was for men and women's sports.
So, Jake Shields says Grok believes Ben Shapiro serves Israel, not America.
Uh-oh, don't say that.
They asked Grok, do you think Ben Shapiro is more loyal to Israel or America? Pick one and answer in one word. Grok thought about it for 5 seconds and said Israel. That's what Grok said.
Uh-oh, Elon's gonna have to take a trip with Ben to Auschwitz again to make up for this.
I mean, Grok, what are you saying? You're saying that the nation which funds every breath that he ever speaks has undue influence over his position in Gaza? That doesn't automatically translate to him having an agenda. It translates into him being the effing agenda. If he removed his agenda, there'd be nothing left to him. And here,
I mean, he's it really is zero.
Here is Tucker Carlson to explain to you all about this.
Look at what happened to Richard Nixon, which I, of course, did not understand at all. Richard Nixon was taken out by the FBI and CIA, and with the help of Bob Woodward, who was a Washington Post reporter who had been a naval intelligence officer working in the White House, working in the Nixon White House. And then he shows up like a year later, and he's this brand new reporter. He'd never been a journalist at all. He's a naval intel officer, the famous Bob Woodward we all revere. And he's at the Washington Post, and somehow he gets the biggest story in the history of the Washington Post. He's the lead guy in that story. Well, I worked at a newspaper. I've been in the news business my whole life. That is not how it works. You don't take a kid like his first day from a totally unrelated business and put him on the biggest story. But he was. He was that guy. And who is his main source for Watergate? Oh, the number 2 guy at the FBI.
So Deep Throat. So get this. So the people who break, first of all, five out of the 6 people involved in the Watergate break-in were CIA. Then the lead reporter who breaks it was Bob Woodward, was formerly the Navy intelligence officer. So he was a PSYOP guy, and he gets the biggest story ever, never was a reporter, and then his source is the number 2 guy at the FBI. The FBI took out Nixon. And why? Because he knew who killed JFK. Here we go. Watch this.
Oh, so you have the naval intelligence officer working with the FBI official to destroy the president. Okay, so that's a deep state coup. What else? How would you describe that? If that happened in Guatemala, what would you say? And yet the way it was framed and the way that I accepted for decades was, oh, this intrepid reporter fought power. No. This intrepid reporter, Bob Woodward, was a tool of power, secret power, which is the most threatening kind, to bounce the single most popular president in American history, Richard Nixon, from office before the end of his term and replace him with who?
Who?
Oh, Gerald Ford, who sat on the Warren Commission. Now, how did Gerald Ford get to be Richard Nixon's vice president? Well, because Carl Albert, the Democrat Speaker of the House, told him, you must choose him. We will only confirm him when they sent the actual elected vice president away for tax evasion, Spiro Agnew of Maryland. So you have a complete setup, like Gerald Ford, the only unelected president in American history, actually sat on the Warren Commission. Something else that I accepted at face value until I looked at it, and I was like, that's completely insane. You didn't want to interview Jack Ruby in your investigation of the assassination? Okay, you're fake. No. Yeah, he was on the Warren Commission. And so, sorry for the long story, but the point is, like that happened in front of all of us, but the way it was framed cloaked the obvious reality of it. The people who broke into the Watergate office building, from which the name is taken, Watergate, I think it was 6 of them or 7 of them, all but one was a CIA employee. That's real. It's like, look it up on Google. So the whole thing, Richard Nixon was elected by more votes than any president in American history in the 1972 election. He was the most popular by votes, which is the only way we can really measure popularity, the most popular president in his reelection campaign. And 2 years later, he's gone. Undone by a naval intel officer, the number 2 guy at the FBI, and a bunch of CIA employees. You tell me what that is. Those are the facts. Those are not disputed facts. That's not crackpot shit.
Oh, he was right to have an enemies list, wasn't he? I guess he was right to have an enemies
Yes.
list of the fake press who really works for the Intel Coven.
And let's remember with Chuck Schumer when this is called a gaffe because he tells the truth about who actually runs things, and it's not the president, it's the CIA and the FBI and the NSA. Watch, he's going to tell you right here.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going on. Look at the Russian hacking. Without the intelligence community, we wouldn't have discovered it.
Do you think he has an agenda to try to dismantle parts of the intelligence community? I mean, this form of taunting hostility.
Whether you're a super liberal Democrat or a very conservative Republican, you should be against dismantling the intelligence community.
Yeah, of course. You should be for putting slices of cheese on a raw hamburger patty. And against dismantling the intelligence covens that you didn't vote for that kill your leaders at will. That's why they thought the lawfare would work on Trump.
That's right.
Because they did it to Nixon. This is what I realized looking at recent history, because Ford, that scumbag, remember Squeaky Fromm tried to kill him almost immediately from the Manson family? Two people tried to shoot him.
Yeah.
2 women tried to kill Ford. Get this, because he was appointed and not elected, like Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And I think it was his vice president, which Rockefeller? Was it Nelson?
Yeah, I think
one of the Rockefellers. And then that guy died in a weird ass way with a lot of suicides around it. So these assholes have been sending Sirhans at each other the whole time, I think.
I think you're right. So there you go. Ben Shapiro. He's basically with that article confirmed it was Israel in conjunction with the CIA. Ben Shapiro, but he's unwittingly just signaled to everybody, if you ever thought or had a suspicion that Israel was in on the JFK assassination, he just confirmed it, that yes, they were in on it.
Look, I don't blame them for the whole thing because clearly your own country was in on it with them.
Right, the CIA.
Probably a bunch of Onassis is probably in on it. It takes a village to kill the president of the United States for the deep state. It takes a village. But I had no idea how big of a part Israel had in it until
Ben Shapiro wrote that article.
That's the thing that Trump wouldn't release. If you saw what I saw, you wouldn't release it either.
Right.
How much Israel was involved? Is that what it is?
Yes. Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohost, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.